Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, Ready Go Politics just did his video on a Newsom versus Vance race, and just coincidentally, On Point Politics also did a Newsom versus Vance scenario. And I'm doing my very own scenario, which could be the same results. I know it's completely different from Red Eagles. I haven't watched On Point Politics video yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do my unbiased opinion on how it's going to look. A Newsom versus Vance election. Let's go ahead. The 2028 election. Donald Trump is term limited after serving a non-consecutive term. Vice President Vance is the Republican nominee. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom, who is attempting podcasts to moderate his own tone after his failed 8 years as governor of California, wins the Democratic primary in a very, very tight primary and wins the Democratic nomination. We're going to go ahead to see who will win the presidency. Will Republicans break the traditional off and on Bush curse in which the United States has seen an off and on Republicans and Democrats trade off the presidency each presidency? If the curse continues, it would be Newsom who would be elected president, but the Democrats have regained, basically, our incompetent DNC leadership is broken, and the Democrats have slept in bed with the far left, and the far left is basically making sure that the establishment will not win these elections. However, the Republican Party is getting more unified under MAGA, and more traditional suburban Republicans are rejoining the party with soaring registration. So we're going to have to see how these elections will turn out, starting off with 7 p.m. We got our first states closing, and we can officially project that Gavin Newsom will easily win the state of Vermont. That is no real surprise. Indiana, J.D. Vance is going to win that state. Kentucky, J.D. Vance will win that state. South Carolina, J.D. Vance will win that state. And Florida, J.D. Vance will win that state. Virginia and Georgia are too close to call. This is our first hour, 58 electoral votes for Vance, 3 electoral votes for Newsom. All right. 7:30, we have 3 more states closing their polls, and that is Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina. We can officially project that J.D. Vance, no surprise, will be carrying his home state, and of course, the state of West Virginia. Of course, it's important to know that Vance grew up as a hillbilly in the Ohio River Valley. He has good name recognition and basically acting like a favorite son for those who are hillbillies in that Ohio River Valley area. They really love J.D. Vance there. But North Carolina is actually, we're going to go ahead and call it. We have good feelings that J.D. Vance will win that state, the state of North Carolina. All right, 95 electoral votes for J.D. Vance. Newsom, 3 electoral votes. We can now move on and look at 8 o'clock. Those 8 o'clock polls have closed. We can now call the state of the 2 districts in Maine. The 2nd district is going for J.D. Vance. The 1st district going for Gavin Newsom. The state at large is too tight. It's too close to call. New Hampshire, too close to call. Massachusetts, going for Newsom. Rhode Island, going for Newsom. Connecticut, going for Newsom. We can officially project the state of New Jersey, going for Gavin Newsom. Delaware, Gavin Newsom. Maryland, Gavin Newsom. And a stunning surprise, Vance will win the state of Pennsylvania. An early call, since Vance is doing very well in the Philadelphia metro. He's winning Bucks County. Lehigh County is probably going to follow him even. We know that Vance will be a favorite son. People of Pennsylvania associate very well to Ohioans. They are, of course, they have a bit of a rivalry, but they're basically brothers. And not to mention, Pennsylvania is somewhat of a reason why it voted so aggressively. Vance is a reason why Pennsylvania voted a bit more compared to like Michigan. to the right for Donald Trump. That favorite son, J.D. Vance, on the ticket. That really did benefit. But you do have D.C. going for Gavin Newsom. Tennessee, J.D. Vance. Alabama, J.D. Vance. Mississippi, J.D. Vance. The state of Illinois, Gavin Newsom. Michigan, let's see, too close to call. Missouri, J.D. Vance. Oklahoma, J.D. Vance. Texas, J.D. Vance. Kansas, J.D. Vance. This is devastating for Democrats. You have Vance already at 200 electoral votes. With Gavin Newsom, just 75 electoral votes. Now, this is pretty damning. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Usually, the first to 200 electoral votes is the winner. Because, and now you, especially if that candidate's like 200, over 100 votes ahead of that said, the loser. So, obviously, or the one that's behind the Democrat or the Republican, whoever's in second place. So Republicans are feeling very confident. The poly market skyrocketing up to the 80% for Vance. It is looking like it's in his favor. 8:30 p.m. Arkansas has closed its polls. We can now look at 9 o'clock poll closing. We can make a projection. New York is going for Newsom. No surprises. You have the state of Louisiana going for Vance. Iowa going for Vance. Nebraska, all but one district going for Vance. And the state as a whole going for Vance solidly. South Dakota, North Dakota for Vance. Wyoming for Vance. Colorado for Newsom. And Arizona, we have a feeling, will go at the end of the night to J.D. Vance. All right. This is pretty wild. 248 electoral votes to Newsom's 113. Democrats are getting very worried. They do not see a pathway forward for Governor Newsom. And Vance is getting pretty ready to make a victory speech. Meanwhile, we can officially project that Wisconsin will go to J.D. Vance at the end of the night. Minnesota, Nebraska 2, and New Mexico. They are too close to call. Let's go ahead and going to 10 o'clock, we are ready to make the next projections. First, starting off with the state of Montana for J.D. Vance, Utah, J.D. Vance, and it's basically over. Because if you actually do the math, you add Alaska in there, which will be called later in the night, Vance will be the winner. Democrats have called it quits, and not to mention, Idaho is inevitably going to go for Vance, which will deliver him a victory in the next hour. It's over. And the chances are high that we will be able to call a swing state for one of the candidates. So let's go ahead and call one of them. Georgia will go for J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is the winner of the election in a sweeping landslide, defeating the unpopular and disgraced Governor Gavin Newsom, who has launched controversy among Californians and his poor leadership, not to mention with the far left. The lack of Democratic unity in the Democratic Party gave Vance a stunning victory. Looking here, you have just 141 electoral votes left. We're going to go ahead and call the Pacific states. You still have Nevada, which I want to call, actually. Nevada should be going for Republicans. If we're calling Arizona, you should call Nevada, too. So I would say before we call Georgia, realistically, timeline-wise, we would have called Nevada. along with Utah and Montana at the same time. So we would call. So it was actually Nevada that did give Vance the victory. Georgia will be called for Vance. It was already over, regardless. People know that. We're going now to the Pacific states. You have Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and California. The three states, Washington, Oregon, California, going to Newsom. You have the state of Idaho going for J.D. Vance. Going forward, we can go ahead and project another state, and that will be the state of Michigan. That is going for J.D. Vance. He is the winner in the state of Michigan. So you got 309 electoral votes to Newsom's 187 votes. So I'm telling you, maybe Newsom won't make it to 200. That would be devastating. But we're going to take a look at the next set, 12 o'clock p.m. Hawaii has closed its polls, but it was all over for them. Sorry to the people remaining in line, but you already have elected the president. Hawaii and Alaska projected. Alaska for Vance, no surprise. Hawaii for Newsom. You got 4 states remaining. We can go ahead and make a projection. Vance will carry the 2nd district of Nebraska, Omaha. It's become a bellwether, technically. We can go ahead and make a projection in Virginia and Maine. Gavin Newsom will win Virginia, and he will win Maine. No real surprises. Virginia has proved to be more of a liberal, although Vance did better in Virginia than Donald Trump. Keep in mind. Looking at the 3 remaining, Minnesota, New Mexico, and New Hampshire. We can go ahead and make a projection. It's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning. Minnesota will go to Gavin Newsom. 216, we can officially say that Gavin Newsom has made it to 200 electoral votes, but he is expected to do worse than Kamala Harris. But this is what it's looking like right now. The next day, people are unclear where New Mexico and New Hampshire will go. But we will officially make a projection for New Hampshire. It will go to J.D. Vance, being the first time since 2000 the state has gone Republican. Now, probably like midday, 12 o'clock on Wednesday, you will probably start the afternoon with the final race being called. That is New Mexico going for J.D. Vance, resonating with the Hispanic vote, continuing to go Republican. We do feel that by this time, New Mexico would probably be Republican, barely. But it was a tight race, but we can say that J.D. Vance will win the state. And there you guys have it. Newsom versus Vance race. Vance with 322, Gavin Newsom with the 216 electoral votes. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And I expect some raging liberal trolls, but, let them rage. But anyway, let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.